And in life, you have to use your unfair advantage. I don't talk about it often, but I work in video game. I actually art director in video games. So building a picture is my job. I know how to build compelling picture, compelling images. And when I built my channel, the thing I wanted, this is like non-negotiable. I wanted my channel to feel cinematic. All right. Hi everyone, Adrian here. Welcome to Wild Bush and Grit. Among all the positive feedback that I'm getting on this channel here, I think the most recurrent theme is how people are actually impressed by the visual quality, the production value that I bring into these videos, and this is really heartwarming because it says yes, I put a lot of care and thought in the process of making this video, and when I see people reacting to that, when I see people recognizing that, well, it means that I'm doing something right here. So it's thank you so much for all the positive feedback. This is what keeps me going, and that's what that's today. This video is actually trying to give. I don't want to keep to myself how I'm making all this. I want to share as much as possible, so you can maybe start your channel, start filming your adventure, and we can inspire each other, right? So maybe you can find some piece of gear that I actually have to try that will change how I make film. First, I think I need to talk about my motivations and what are my goals when I started this channel, because these principles influence the equipment that I'm buying, right? So it's like I don't do things randomly. I always have an intention, and to have that intention, you need to know where you're going first. Once you have the rationale of where you want to go, then the decision making is easy. Principles. When I started the channel, of course, I wanted to differentiate myself from the other channel. I didn't want to be the next, there's a lot of outdoor channel on YouTube, and I wanted my channel to be recognizable, right? And in life, you have to use your unfair advantage. I don't talk about it often, but I work in video game. I actually art director in video games. So building a picture is my job. I know how to build compelling picture, compelling images. And when I built my channel, the thing I wanted, this is like non-negotiable. I wanted my channel to feel cinematic. All right. Keep that word in mind, cinematic, because this is that principle, that goal drives everything else, right? From the gear that I purchase, from how I film to how I edit. All right. So I can say cinematic. It could mean a lot of things for different people, but to me, cinematic is to be as close as possible to what movies look like. When I look at Meat Eater or I don't know, I don't have any other name on top of my mind. I want it to be better visually, and to me, to be better visually than these shows, I know it's like high expectations here. It was to take the approach of looking like a cinema, like a movie, like a film. All right. And to look like movies, you have a couple of things that you can do for your image to look like a movie. So the type of camera that you use, for example, if you use a simple point and shoot or your phone, big chances are you're not gonna get the depth of field that you need. The separation of plane. When your subject is in focus, you want your background to be completely blurred, right? Or what photographer calls bokeh, focus range. Being able to separate your subject with the focus and depth of field is to me something that looks cinematic. The second aspect that I wanted was to also, and that was to differentiate myself from the other channel. Like most channel online today are like 60 frames per second. There are no movies shot at 60 frames. I mean, they are, and they look very weird. They look very funny. I think we've been trained to recognize 24 frames per second as the default mode for a movie, and that 24 frames per second has actually a nice effect. Let's say I'm moving my hands, there's a motion blur to that, and every little movement has that motion blur that unconsciously our brain recognize and identify as cinematographic experience. And so just like the movies, I'm limiting myself at 24 frames per second. And the third aspect was color grading. I am not gonna go into heavy details with color grading here in this video, but I'm using DaVinci Resolve as my main editing software, and it has a fantastic color grading modules. And color grading is a lot. It adds to the story. It adds to the mood of what you're trying to convey, right? And I can give you an example of here in my studio. This is color graded, of course, but when it's not color graded, this is how it looks. So you can clearly see that color grading is also a huge part of the identity of this channel. All right. Now, by the way, DaVinci Resolve is free. I do have my own version that I pay for, but you could use the free version to start your own channel, and you have a lot of feature, it's a very, very powerful software. Even if you're not using the paying version, you have a lot of capabilities at your hand using this software. All right, so let's talk about hardware for a second. I'm gonna start with audio, because if I had to do it all over again, I will probably invest earlier on a little bit more in audio and less in cameras. I think people can go and watch a video even if the quality of the image is not top, but they will not forgive you if your audio is just not up to par. Like if you have something that is noisy, where people can't understand you, or if there's like noise, wind, whatever, it's much harder to watch and be immersed in the experience when your audio is really, really bad. So earlier on, I wish I would have invested in audio first. Like if you look at my earliest video where I'm recording with the actual mic, which is in the camera. Hi everyone, Audrey here, and welcome back to Wild Bush and Grit. So as promised, this is part 2 of my... that microphone is good. I mean, it's doing what it's supposed to do, but it's capturing everything. It captures the room, the echo, the sound. You have to speak very loud, and that distorts your voice. And even in post after, when you're trying to make the sound better, you also need to take some time there to kind of get the noise, get the sounds right. Okay, so audio, let's start with audio. So audio, you have multiple ways of going. Here, this is my studio setup, so I have a boom mic up here. This is not what I'm using when I'm filming my adventure. Of course, when I'm filming my adventure, it needs to be packable. The first great investment I did on the audio side was the Rode wireless here. The Go, I think it's Go wireless, yes. And so this is the receiver, this is the transmitter. You put this one on yourself, and this goes on the camera because you have to wire it to the camera. And it's great. It's a great unit. It's fantastic. It has good range. Look back often. Often what I'll do is I'll walk a path. When I see a stump, I will just sit on the stump 5-10 minutes, and I'm gonna look. And sometimes there's actually one deer that will cross the path behind me, trying to look at what the heck was that. Just like this little young spike did. The only reason I still use it when I'm out there, but here in the studio I prefer to have something here up, because I find that specifically for studio purpose, I don't need the wireless capability. I can have this microphone here straight wired into my computer and get my audio file over there. So when you're out there, this is a great piece to have with you, because not only, yes, you can, if you want to talk, you can speak to the mic, but if you're filming something, you can actually leave it somewhere and film from a different vantage point. So you actually keep capturing the sound of where you left the microphone. Speaking of ambient sound, if you want to capture ambient sound and then rated that in your film, you can get an external recorder like this, which comes with 2 mics, so you can record in stereo. Let's say you're around a waterfall and there's like water, birds, whatever. These things will capture the scenery in stereo mode. Those are beasts. There's a couple. I mean, this is a Tascam DR44WL. There's cheaper options to record sound. Even your phone can record sound out there if you add an external mic. But this is also always a great backup when you're filming. Let's say you're doing like I don't know, I will be cooking outdoor. I will add this one as a backup, right? So I will put it on the side next to where am I. This will capture all the sounds of what I'm doing. If I speak, it will probably pick, it will pick it up. And if something ever go wrong with the camera, the microphone that I have on the camera, maybe the battery dies, I have this backup. I can, in post, manage to reincorporate some of the lost sound using the external camera. Here is an example of combining various audio sources and multiple cameras. This is by far the most complex scene I've ever shot. And it's three camera. I have an action camera on the side, I have my main camera in front, and I have a third camera downrange near the target. And near that target, I added the test cam that I just spoke about to really capture the bullet hitting the steel. That. The sounds of victory. Third option, which is actually the cheapest, is just to use a video mic here, which you put next to the camera, or if you have an extension cord, you can put this mic wherever you want. You can put it close to yourself and you can speak to it, or you can attach it to the camera, mount it to the camera, so whatever you're pointing at and you're filming, it's capturing the audio scenery of that shot. And never forget to always use a dead cat on your microphone, otherwise it gets very noisy very fast. A little bit of wind and you're losing the audio. And those dead cat makes great work at reducing that wind noise. That's for audio. Now, video. There are a couple of things in the video department. What's my main camera for a studio, and it's actually, you know, I would say 80% of all the filming that I do is done with this main camera. I'm using an Sony Alpha 6400, and the main reason is because of that cinematic principle that I have, right? I needed a camera with interchangeable lenses. I need those lenses to be able to isolate the subject using the focus. And this is what this camera, in conjunction with the right lens, will give you. Lots of light get into the lens, and you have this nice blur at a distance or at the foreground, depending on where you're focusing. And in terms of lenses, I have 4 lenses that I use most of the time. Like, I would say a good 70% of all my shots are done with this lens that I'm using right now. So it's a 35mm. And the other lens that I have is actually near here. I have a Rokinon 85mm here, which is what you would, you know, a telephoto objective. I have this one, which is a zoom 55 to 210. So I use this one when the animals are really far and I need like to get a close-up of a bear, for example, or a porcupine or whatever is out there. And the other lens I like using, this is an old Canon lens. This is a, oh no, wait, this is a 50. I use a 24. It's somewhere. I have a 24mm that I used to use, that I don't use much now, but and essentially the 24mm give you a wider angle when you want to get, you know, establishing shots. But speaking of establishing shot, I think the best tool for the job is a drone. If you want to be cinematic, you need to have those wide vista shots, and the best way to get these wide vista shots is to use a drone. DJI, this is a Mavic Air 2. Fantastic drone, even up to, you know, 2023 standards. This thing has outstanding visual qualities. The drone is easy to use. It has a lot of features. For example, when I'm filming, when I'm driving, I don't need to pilot the drone and drive at the same time. What I'll do is I'll just tell the drone, hey, follow my car, and I just drive. Then the drones follow me. Further, I stopped, I bring the drone back, and I look at the footage, all right? And I would say the battery life is good. It's about 20-22 minutes of flight time per battery. I have 3 batteries with me, so usually I have at least 60 minutes of flight. That's plenty of opportunity to actually you know, have the shot that you need for a drone. This is my go-to technique now for drone footage. You will notice that the drone is moving into one smooth direction. There's no change, there's no turn. The drone just fly at moderately constant speed from A to B. Originally, I was shooting at 24 frames per second, but the movie was stuttering, which I didn't like. To palliate that, I started shooting at 60 frames per second, but it was still, it wasn't that, you know, I wasn't matching the goal that I had in my mind. So I still continued to shoot at 60 frames per second, But now I will slow down the footage during the edit. So right now it's the same footage running at 24 frames per second, and now it has a very like a slow motion quality to it, which is mesmerizing. And on top of that, you add color grading, and then you crop the image to get that panorama effect, and boom, you got footage that could be in a National Geographic. And from here, you can add some speed ramps to your footage to add some effects to it. So that's two cameras, right? And in complement to these two cameras, the third type of video equipment that I like to use are action camera. Action camera are not my main cameras. I use them to supplement, to add in the event of some time they can capture something cool, all right? Because not everything, especially when you're hunting, I don't have all my equipment all rolled out. So the only way for me sometimes to get something really, really quick is to use an action cam. Now, action cam, the first one that I used was a GoPro Session. I've misplaced it somewhere, I don't know, but the one that I'm using the most now is this one, the Osmo Action. And this is a great little unit. It's super small. Here I have a headband, so I can put it on top of my head while I hunt. So if something happens, I just turn it on, and then I can I will capture whatever is in front of me. At some point, I thought a 360 camera would be a good idea, and to be honest, I went out with it a couple of times, and to me, it's I find the battery life to be not so great. The quality also is highly questionable. Like, I had encountered deer coming to me at 10 meters, and this camera wouldn't even pick it up. It's just like a blob of pixel once I take that 360 footage. Because the great thing about this is you just turn it on and it's capture everything. Okay, you don't need to point it at a subject, or it just capture everything, and it's later in post that you can reframe and choose where you want to see. The huge drawback is the resolution of everything. If you have to choose a frame, the number of pixels in that frame is very low. So even if a deer is really close, it's just like shimmering pixel, and that you can barely see. And so I stopped using this altogether, because I think I prefer maybe a bit more dangerous to capture things, but at least when you get something on camera using the Osmo Action, it's actually sharp and clear. So this is a great addition. Okay, so this is an example of me fishing with a two camera setup. So I have my Osmo Action rigged on my chest, and I have the Alpha 6400s somewhere on the rocks. I'm fishing, all the cameras are off because I don't have unlimited batteries. This doesn't exist yet, sadly. So when I hook a fish, I turn on my Osmo camera, and now I'm thinking of, alright, where am I going to land that fish so I can also film it from my Alpha. Here's the Alpha, which I'm turning on, record, doing this while I'm fighting the fish. Now I'm trying to get to a vantage point where I will be in front of the Alpha camera, trying not to lose the fish, navigate the wet rocks, and get in the frame. Hashtag life of an adventurer. I'm also mixing the audio from various sources, so I get the best of both. The Osmo Action is not really picking well the environment. It's mostly picking all the sounds that are close to me, like water splash or me grunting. And the Alpha has the video micro on top of it, so it's really picking well the environment, like the water and the scenery. And here you will have at the end a combination of hearing my voice with the sound of the environment. So there are no trade-off. I'm capturing everything, and then in post I'm choosing how much I want to hear this versus that. And this is the beauty of having multiple camera, multiple microphone running at the same time, and it's really to give you the liberty later to really choose the best angle, the best audio to tell the story you want to tell. here I have a DJI Ronin SC that I maybe use once or twice, and the setup is so cumbersome that I stopped bothering. Like I think it's more important to hold properly your camera using strap to stabilize yourself and do the shot that you want, instead of carrying another case, more setup to do when you reach the field, and more battery also to care about. You know, it's so I think it's important when you're out there to be frugal about the amount of equipment that you bring with you, okay? And consider that every piece of electronic that you bring, if it's rain, it's another, another level of stress. When it's too cold, when I'm going to Bay James and it's like -40, my battery are literally frozen. Like I have for the drone, I have to warm up the batteries on the wood stove a while before I actually can fly the drone. Otherwise, the drone just flies 30 seconds and then it drops into the snow. I had that, and it's it's not cool. Be frugal. Think of the weight. Um, as you're alone, of course, you cannot film and hunt at the same time. I think, to me, the most important thing to capture while I'm hunting is actually to get animals in sight or the kill shot. But everything else I will do after the kill. So, for example, on the bear hunt that I had, it's most of the footage was shot after I killed the bear. The drone shot after. Me getting out of the car after. So it's like I focus on the hunt. I fully immerse myself with the hunt. While I hunt, I try to get the kill shot. But everything else that is super important that to telling that story is about, it's the B-roll, the environment, the mood will pull in the viewer so they can appreciate the kill shot and the hunt. And the comment you will get is like, oh my man, it was so cool. It's as if I was there. This is the best comment that I can get, because it means that the shot that I took, that I put together, that I in a specific sequences did really pull in the audience, and they actually felt immersed in my world. And this is this is everything, because that's exactly what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to bring you the most raw and filtered experience of what it is to hunt with me. This is what this channel is about. Alright folks, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comment what you think. Maybe you've been filming your stuff too. You want to share with me some equipment, things that you've tried successfully. Let me know in the comment. So that's it folks. Have fun out there, be safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.